Rainbow Sparkle and I'm reading The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton, and this is Chapter 18, The Land of Take What You Want. The next day was very fine. The children helped their mother to clean the whole house down, and Joe proudly brought in some fine peas and lettuce from the garden, which he had grown himself. Mother was very pleased. "You can go off after lunch by yourselves if you like," she said. "You have been very good today." The children looked at one another in glee. Just what they hoped. Good. "Come on," said Joe after lunch. "We won't waste any time." "But what about tea?" said Bessie. Ought we not take some with us?" "I should think we might get tea from the land of Take What You Want," said Joe with a grin. "Oh, then we really mean to go," said Fanny, dancing around in delight. "Hurry up then, let's go." Oh, then they all ran off, waving goodbye to Mother. They were soon in the Enchanted Wood, hearing the trees whispering secretly to one another. Wisha, wisha, wisha. They ran through the bushes and the trees to the faraway tree, and up they went. When they passed the window of the angry pixie, Joe peeped in, just for fun. But he was sorry that he did, for the angry pixie was there, and he threw a basin of soup all over poor Joe. "Oh," said Joe in dismay, as he saw his shirt all splashed with soup. "Oh, look at that, you wicked pixie!" The angry pixie went off into howls of laughter of delight, and he banged his window shut. Joe was very, very cross. "Oh, you smell of onions now, Joe," said Bessie, wrinkling up her nose. "I hope that smell goes away." Joe wiped himself down with a handkerchief. He said to himself that day that he would pay the angry pixie back. "Come on," said Joe impatiently. "We'll never get there." They passed the barn owl's door and saw him sitting inside fast asleep. They came to Silkie's little yellow door, but she wasn't in. There was a note pinned onto her door which said, "Out, back soon." "She must be with Moonface," said Joe. "Now just look out for Dame Washalot's water, everyone." It was a good thing that he reminded them, because not long after that, a big waterfall of soapy suds all came pouring down the tree. Fanny screamed and dodged, and so did Bessie. But Joe caught some on his shirt. He was very cross. "Oh, never mind," said Fanny with a giggle. "It will wash off some of the onion soup." They then went up and came to Mr. What's-his-name's. He was, as usual, sitting in his deck chair fast asleep with his mouth open, and beside him, fast asleep, was old Saucepanman, looking most uncomfortable, draped around in his usual saucepans and kettles, and a saucepan for a hat. "Don't wake him," whispered Joe. "We'd better not stop to talk." So they crept around them, and on the next branch they crept away. But the saucepan man woke up. He sniffed hard and poked Mr. What's-his-name. "Oh, what's the matter? What's the matter?" said his friend. "Can you smell onion?" said the saucepan man. "I distinctly smell onion. Do you suppose the faraway tree is growing onions anywhere near today? Oh, I love onion soup." Joe and the girls laughed as they giggled. "It's onion soup on your shirt that the saucepan man can smell," said Bessie. "My goodness, they'll spend all afternoon looking for onions growing on the faraway tree." They left the two funny old men and went climbing up. They got nicely caught by Dame Washalot's second lot of washing. She was doing a great deal of washing that day, and she emptied a big wash tub down on top of the three children underneath. Slishy, sloshy, slishy, sloshy. The water came pouring down and soaked all the children. They gasped and shook themselves like dogs. "Quick," said Joe. "We will go as fast as we can to Moonface's house and borrow some towels from him. This is dreadful." They arrived at Moonface's at last. Old Moonface and Silkie rushed out to hug them. But when they saw how dripping wet the children were, they stopped in surprise. "Is it raining?" said Moonface. "Have you had a bath in your clothes?" said Silkie. "No, it's just Dame Washalot's water as usual," said Joe crossly. "We dodged the first lot, but we got caught by the second lot. Could you lend us some towels?" Moonface grinned and pulled some towels out of his curved cupboard. As the children rubbed themselves down, they chattered hard. Moonface told them all about the land of Take What You Want. "It's a marvellous land," he said. "You are allowed to wander all over it and take whatever you want for yourselves without paying a penny. Everyone goes there if they can. Do come and visit with me and Silkie." "Is it quite safe?" said Joe, rubbing his hair dry. "Oh yes," said Silkie. "The only thing is you must be careful not to stay too long in case it leaves the faraway tree and you can't get down. But Moonface says he will sit by the ladder and give us a loud whistle if he sees a sign that the land is going to move away." "Oh, good," said Joe. "Well, there'll be plenty of things we want. So we could go now, shall we?" They all climbed to the utmost branch to the great white cloud. The ladder led through the hole as usual to the land above. One by one they climbed it and stood in the strange country above the magic cloud. It was indeed strange. It was simply crowded with things and people. It was really quite difficult to move about. Animals of all kinds wandered around there, with sacks full of all sorts of things from gold to potatoes. And there were stalls of the most wonderful vegetables and fruits everywhere, and even such things as chairs and tables could be found waiting for anybody to take them. "Good gracious," said Joe. "Can we really take anything that we want?" "Anything," said Moonface, settling himself down by the ladder in the cloud. "Look at all those gnomes over there. They mean to take all the gold that they can find." The children looked where Moonface was pointing, and sure enough, there were 4 gnomes hauling at all the sacks of gold in sight. One by one, they staggered off to the ladder with them and disappeared down the faraway tree. Other fairy folk hunted for different things that they wanted: dresses, coats, shoes, singing birds, pictures, all kinds of things. As soon as they had found what they were looking for, they rushed off to the ladder in glee and slipped down it. Moonface found it fun to watch them. The others wandered off, looking at everything in surprise. "Do you want a nice fat lion, Joe?" asked Silkie, as a large lion wandered by and licked Silkie's hand. "No, thank you," said Joe at once. "Well, what about a giraffe?" said Silkie. "I believe they make fine pets." "You believe wrong then," said Bessie, as a tall giraffe galloped past like a rocking horse. "Nobody in their senses would want to keep a giraffe for a pet." "Oh, look," said Fanny, as she came to a shop which stood a great many large, beautiful clocks. "Do let's take a clock back home." "No, thank you," said Joe. "We know what we want, and we'll take that and nothing else." "I think I should take a clock," said Silkie, and she picked up a small clock with a very nice silly face. It had 2 feet underneath, which waggled hard. Silkie picked up that clock. "It wants to talk," said Bessie, with a scream of laughter. "Oh, do let it, Silkie. I've never seen a clock talk before." Silkie put the clock down, and it trotted beside them with its big flat feet. The children thought it was the funniest thing that had ever seen. Silkie was very pleased with her new clock. "Just what I've always wanted," she said. "I shall keep it at the back of my room." "You don't suppose it will stay there, do you, Silkie?" asked Bessie. "It'll just wander round and talk and walk, and it would poke its nose into everything you're doing, and if it doesn't like you, it might run away." "Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong," said the clock suddenly in a clear voice, making them all jump. It stopped walking when it chimed, but it ran after the children and Silkie again at once. It was rather the most extraordinary clock. "Now, we must really look for the things we want," said Joe. "Are those hens over there, Bessie?" "Yes, they are," said Bessie. "Good. Come along, let's go and get them. Oh, this is perfectly lovely land. I'm glad that we came. What fun it will be getting everything we want. I do wonder what Mother will say when we get home."